Hi everyone, this is Stephanie at Hightower Stitching with today's video, which is number 198D. It's in the series related to the vintage applique butterfly quilts, and it's what happened because of an extra block that I had left. And what I'm doing is making a thoughtful, useful quilt storage pouch. Like to give you the list again of 2 sites, and one of them is free to YouTube if you want to see my videos together, and the other one is for the little store that I have on Etsy where some of the products end up at the end. That's just an introduction. Here's going back to the other video. This is the pouch that I made for one of the quilts, and it has the top. It's got Velcro to hold it, and when you open it up, there's the pouch that the quilt sits in, and when you get it in there, then you can take and got the Velcro there to hold it. And this one came because I had 2 extra blocks left of those vintage ones, and I wanted to do something special for the person this was for. So now I have a short parade of pouches because getting ready for you, I needed to go back and do it now and think of it as you doing it after I had figured it out before. And so here's one that I did. I said, I don't think I'm going to use this material for anything. This might be a good way to do some of the quilts I have and make a pouch to put them in. And this one does not have the Velcro on it yet. And it may not need Velcro, or it could have snaps on it even. Then the second one is a little more sophisticated look. And I really like that because, but there again, that was a piece of material I looked at and I said, I'm not sure what I'd ever use that for. And so I made that one into a pouch. So that's my little parade. And once you get it set up, everything goes really fast. The first thing that I used was a 47 by 25 inch piece of fabric. Just started with 1 strip. And then I folded the top down 9 inches. That's going to be where the flap is. So that's my 9 inches coming down. And then I folded up the bottom at 11.5 inches. And the other thing that I did was I cut a piece of batting. I like the batting in the flap. And I have ideas of, depending on who this would be for, that I go back and top stitch the flap to make it special, to quilt it. And so the piece that goes in there for the batting is 25 by 8.5. All right, and I'll show you that where that goes in just a minute. So the first thing that I did was I went ahead and I made a hem seam in the top of and the flap where I've got it folded forward down. And then I also went and did a folded seam in the bottom part that I folded up. And I just turned my material down 1/4 of an inch, and then I turned it down another 1/4 of an inch, and I stitched across there. And you say, well, what's that white piece? That's a piece of stabilizer. And you don't need it because when you get the quilt in there, it's gonna look really good, and you get your Velcro. But I thought, well, maybe I just wanted to make it a little stronger or stabler right there. So this is just one-sided glue, and it was 2 inches and 25 inches long. So that gets it all set up, ready to go. Okay, I have the seam put in there and the seam put in the top. I've got my batting set where I want it on there. So the next thing, so far we've only had to stitch those 2 seams. Now we're going to do a little bit more stitching. And these are going to be on the sides of the panel. And make those a 1/2 inch deep instead of a normal 1/4 inch. Make that be a 1/2 of an inch, and I ran it from the bottom corner up to, and then double back stitch there to make that nice and strong. And then on the other end where the flap is, there again, make it 1/2 inch all the way up, and you've got the batting sitting there. And the batting, if I was going to take this and top stitch it or do some quilting on it, then it's fine just like it is. And I had one that I wasn't sure I was going to do that, so I just took some Wonder Web and put a couple pieces underneath there so that it would be in place. And so you do both sides just like that and do your seams. Okay, and then I'm going to take and I'm going to clip the corners because you want these to look really nice when you get done. So go around and clip all 4 corners. And then we're ready for the magic of turning our pockets around. That 1/2 inch seam is really nice for pressing too. And you'll see why. You can probably already figured out why there's why I used a good 1/2 inch on those sides. I get my other pocket. That takes care of the bottom. I'm going to go up to the top. I haven't clipped that corner. And you don't have to clip them, but it makes it lay nice. And I'm going to take and do that one. And then if you're having a little trouble, you can take your scissor or something. Gently push out that little corner right there. You see that one looks really nice. And the other one, you'll say that first one, you're going to say, well, it had a curved edge right there. Well, what happened was to add that piece of that block of the butterfly, I had to actually make that separate and then sew it on so I could get it to look like I wanted it to. Okay, we got one more. Follow it over there. Let's push the corner out. You're going to say, I can't believe this is so fast. Once you get that first part set up, then the only thing left is your sewing and your creativity of things that you want to do with it. Then I will tell you one thing about, in a second, about some of that fabric. Now, you only have 2 raw edges, and I'm going to slide this over so you can see the left-hand side. And if you look, there's my top. That's my flap. Nice. That batting makes it really neat. And then you've got your bottom, and then the stabilizer you don't have to have, but you can tell it sort of makes it feel good. Well, over here, I've got my raw edge, and we made it a 1/2 of an inch so that we could take and fold in. I've got it folded at a 1/2, and I want to take and fold it in at about a 1/4, and just lay it there, and it's right with that one, and go all the way up to the top part, and then make sure it's, let's see how that one's laying a little different, but that's all right because it's not going to show, so I'm just going to tip it that way. And then come, now I started in the pocket, the bottom pocket, to just make it stronger, and then ran a line of stitching up to the top. And then you would go over to the other side. This one's laying exactly right. That other one must have been a little difference, but it won't show up. And so I've got it there. I'm going to fold it under a 1/4 all the way up there, and then stitch it from the bottom pocket up through the top flap. And then once this was pressed, it's getting there, this piece would just come down. Now, if you've got a little small quilt or a smaller quilt that you want to put in there, of course, then you can put your Velcro down farther. You can put your Velcro up a little bit farther. And this all came because I started out doing a pillowcase cover for some quilts I had done. And then for these, I wanted to make them a little fancier. And I thought about mail pouches. And that's where I came to do this and do it with the flap, and I think it's going to be a great way to store these. And the one thing I was going to show you, if you decide to do something that's got a pattern, that's got a definite top and bottom, you know, that it runs from the top and the bottom, turn that the way you want it to be at the end. You're either going to turn it one way or you're going to turn it the other, because I wanted to make sure when I closed my pocket that I'd be looking at it sitting the same as the bottom. And it's just a matter of laying your 47-inch strip of material, folding those down and shutting it, and you'll know which one's going to be the top or not. But to keep myself from getting confused, I actually, when I figured out which way it was going to be, I actually came into the top corner and put a T on it. So if I got called away or something happened, then I could get it. This is Stephanie at Hightower Stitching. That was quick. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you make a bunch of pouches, because it's just a fast. Once you get it set up, it goes fast, and it's really fun, and you can do some cute decorating with this project. Thank you for watching.